In today's video, we're installing the MST intake and the MST Turbo Inlet Pipe on my F30 BMW. What's up, you guys? Welcome to the video. If you're new here, my name's Josh. Like previously mentioned, today we are installing the Turbo Inlet Pipe and the MST intake on my F30 BMW from Kies Motorsports. So if you like my videos, make sure to give them a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Check me out over at JG Media over on Instagram, and let's get started. Alright, so with getting started, here is the stock airbox. Looking kind of boring, pretty plain, as well as this plastic, it's gotta go. So we're gonna start off. There is a mass airflow sensor right here held in by two T20 Torx. Then we're gonna go ahead and unscrew this clamp right here with a flathead. And there's gonna be 4 clips right here. We're gonna go ahead and unclip. So there's all 4 clips. And then there's 1 grommet here, as well as a 2nd and 3rd grommet. And then once we remove all of this, the airbox should just pop right on out. Alright, so now that the top portion of the airbox is removed, we're going to go ahead and loosen this clamp down here, as well as there is a clip holding the bottom portion of the airbox to that line, and this should pop right on out. So then once the clamp is loosened, we're going to go ahead and just unclip this clip just like this. Just slide your nail in there, and it should just pop right on out like that. So now with the airbox completely removed, exposing the inlet pipe, we're going to go ahead and remove these few connections. Alright, so since it's a little hard to see, since there's not much room down here, I first took out this plug first, moved this out of the way, and I took out this larger hose right here, which is a really tight fit, and you just got to go ahead and just squeeze from the sides. And then this top plug right here, another one where you just look for the ridges and squeeze, pull out, and then this bottom one underneath right here. So a total of 4 connections. Definitely a little bit of a tight fit, but just have at it with some patience. And then once that is exposed, there is a 10mm that's holding the inlet pipe to the turbo. So I just grabbed an extension with a 10mm, and that should just pop right on out. Then in comparison, just the stock inlet just looks like such fragile plastic compared to the silicone and the aluminum, which also just looks so nice compared to just the brittle plastic. So then we're gonna go ahead and take this piece, use the stock 10mm nut, and then with our extension go ahead and get this seated right onto the turbo. So this is going to be a tight fit. You'll pretty much be doing this all by feel. So then at this point of the process, I would suggest using your phone, hopping into video mode, and then just making sure everything is aligned properly before reinstalling the OEM 10mm bolt. So at this point of the process, we're going to want to go ahead and grab the silicone piece, grab a clamp, and orient it to the left. So that way, once we get this onto the aluminum piece, we're going to go ahead. There's not that much room, but once it's oriented to the left, you should be able to get an 8mm in there and tighten down the clamp. Alright, so the inlet pipe is as far back as it needs to be so I can get this first clip back plugged in, and then as you guys can see, the clamp is oriented up so we have direct access to it. So we're going to go ahead and tighten up this clamp, get everything plugged back in, and continue on with the process. Alright, so getting this hose right here back in has been probably the most challenging part of this entire installation. So what I'm going to go ahead and, there's 2 clips right here, squeeze these, and we're going to remove this hose right here completely. So just like that. And then I went ahead and I loosened this clamp right here, so then this silver piece pops right out. So I found this to be night and day easier. So where this flat little groove here and the flat end of this silver piece, I just went ahead and put the flat piece in first, and then making sure the seal goes in, everything nice and smooth. It just clips right on in. And then as you can see, since this is out and you can see all the clips are in very nicely, it is sealed right here with the groove of the flat piece. So I found this to be a lot easier. So then at this point of the process, the turbo inlet pipe is completely installed. We have 1, 2, 3 connections all plugged back in, and then this hose is securely fastened down with this clamp. Everything is sitting nice and snug. This piece was by far the most challenging. I would definitely suggest just taking this entire hose off, unscrewing this clamp, removing the silver piece that holds the hose in place, and just doing it from outside. Trying to just squeeze everything in while the hose was still plugged in from up top was just way too difficult. It's way too tight, but it was so much easier just by taking off the entire hose. But we have this clamp ready to go, this clamp tightened down, the clamp back in here tightened down, all the connections good to go. So now let's get to installing the MST intake. At this point in the process, we're going to go ahead and take this J looking pipe and install this into the turbo inlet pipe. Once this is installed, we're going to go ahead and once you orient the pipe upwards, and then go ahead and tighten down this clamp. So now that we have the air box secure, we have the sleeve on the bottom portion of the air intake, we're going to go ahead and reinstall the mass airflow sensor. So we're going to always want to make sure the pointed end is facing towards the air box, and then we're going to go ahead and secure these with the screws provided by MST. They are 2 T15 Torx bits. So we got both clamps tightened down. This top portion is ready to go. And we're ready to put in our air filter. It's already looking so good. Alright, at this point of the process, the MST intake is fully installed. Clamps all tightened down. Bolts all secure, filter secure. This thing is rock solid. So last thing we gotta do is just put on the heat shield. Alright, so this point of the process, the MST intake and the MST Turbo Inlet Pipe are fully installed, and it looks fantastic. But I got one more treat for you guys, as we're also going to finish off this video installing a Kies Motorsports Strut Brace. So then to install the strut brace, we're going to go ahead and remove these 3 13mm bolts, as well as the 3 on this side as well. And then to finish off the install of the strut brace, we're going to go ahead and use a 15mm and a 17mm to tighten down the 2 bolts. Alright, so all in all, very straightforward. The strut brace is looking fantastic. It's also going to help out with stability and reducing all that body roll. The MST intake and inlet are looking fantastic. Huge thank you to Kies Motorsports. Everything looks great. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap up today's video. Very content with how everything turned out. The intake, the inlet, and the strut brace all look great. So if you're interested in any of these products from Kies Motorsports, links will be down in the description. I'm very content with these products, as I knew as soon as I installed them all on my 235, as I've been running the MST intake, the inlet, and the strut brace for a little while on the 235. I knew immediately that that was going to be something I would need to install on the F30 as well. The strut brace really just helps stabilize the car, keep everything planted and balanced. I've noticed this a lot when in New Jersey, when you're going on the highway, let's say 80, 90, the way the exits are in New Jersey is they're roundabouts for the most part. So all of a sudden you're doing 80, 90 and you're going to go on a sharp turn on a roundabout to go off on your exit. So then you feel that just sharp body roll from each side, and the strut brace really just helps to maintain and stabilize that, keep the car planted, well maintained and balanced. So I'm really content with the strut brace as well. It's something that's very subtle. I was having this conversation with Brian the other day that the strut brace is something that it's really subtle, but it's something that if you were to put it on, you might not notice the difference immediately, but then if you were to take it off, it might feel like there was something wrong with the car, because once you get used to that stabilized way the car just drives, once you take it off, you notice how much of a difference it actually makes. So it's definitely one of those things that's very subtle, but it makes a huge difference. So if you made it to the end of the video, make sure to smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to your boy, check me out over at JG Media. Like I said, if you're interested in any of the parts, anything I talked about in today's video, links will be down in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one.